Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, the truth finally comes out. It's again not surprising to anybody who's been paying attention, especially paying attention to all these Project Veritas leaks over the last couple of years. The left has repeatedly said that it's a conspiracy theory, it's not actually true, there are studies to prove the exact opposite. In fact, here's Joe Biden's Ministry of Truth president or executive, Nina Jankowicz, pushing that same garbage, bogus narrative.
There's already this idea, this allegation that there is anti-conservative bias on the platforms, even though there has been study after study proving, in fact, that often it's liberal voices that are being silenced, particularly minority voices on social media. So I think we're going to see more allegations of that.
Ironically, the leader of Joe Biden's Ministry of Truth seems to be the Minister of Propaganda and BS Studies. What a laughable concept. That actually the opposite is true, and that people on the left side of politics are the ones who experience more censorship or censorship disparities? You've got to be out of your mind. This is the person leading Joe Biden's Disinformation board. I swear we are living through some dystopian novel. But of course, what we got to do is fact check the fact checkers like we always do. Fact check these dishonest, deep state propagandists and operatives. And luckily enough, we have a bombshell admission and video, once again from Project Veritas, showing a senior engineer at Twitter admitting what we all knew from the start. Now, a lot of the things that we have been saying about lefties have been saying is an exaggeration, hyperbole, just a political talking point, slander, whatever you want to call it. The most powerful way to dismantle this defense from the left side is by using them in their own words. What we've been saying, or what we've been accusing them of for years, well, apparently they know themselves and they are fully willing to admit themselves, as long as they think they're anonymous behind closed doors. But in this case, we have a secret recording of a Twitter senior engineer admitting what we've been saying from the start and totally debunking this bogus narrative from these bogus studies that Nina Jankowicz is relying on. Absolutely crazy that she's considered an expert. Apparently, all you need to be an expert in the view of the White House is a subscription to the New York Times. I mean, what a joke. Let's get into this stuff. We've got a lot to cover, but before we get into any of it, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. And with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Alright friends, so take a look at this bombshell report. Quote, Twitter does not believe in free speech. Undercover Project Veritas recording reveals Twitter engineer saying platform censors the right but not the left. Everyone who works here is, quote, commie as F, communist as F, and they, quote, hate Elon Musk.
So do you think there's a difference between Twitter's definition of free speech and Elon's definition of free speech?
Twitter does not believe in free speech.
What do you
Elon
mean?
believes in free speech. Ideologically, it does not make sense, like, because we're actually censoring the right, not the left. Because everyone on the right wing will be like, bro, it's okay to say, you just gotta tolerate it. The left will be like, no, I'm not gonna tolerate it. I need it censored, or else I'm not gonna be on the platform. So it does serve the right. It's true, there is bias. But it is what it is today.
What do your colleagues say about it?
They hate it. Oh my god, I'm at least like okay with it, but some of my colleagues are like super left.
What are they saying?
They're like, this will be my last day if it happens. So,
Has much changed since like Elon's coming out?
a lot has changed. A lot has changed. Like we're stress eating a lot. Like we're all like worried for a job.
Why are you guys so worried about?
You know, jobs are at stake. He's a capitalist. So we weren't really operating like capitalist mode. We were very socialist. Like we're all like communist.
There you have it, folks. The left has been saying that we are out of line or that it's hyperbole to claim that they are communists. But here they are, on the record, at least the people that we're generally referring to as communists, admitting it themselves. We are, quote, commie as F. That's basically all you need to know. And also, I mean, it's not exactly hidden when two of the most popular leftist content creators in Hassan and Vosh both essentially market themselves as communists. Hassan's logo and his banner, all of it a throwback to the Soviet era. But people have have been saying that we're out of line to say that they're communists. No, they literally are. Am I out of line to call them authoritarian leftists? No, they are, as they admit that what they are doing amounts to censorship of the right. Leftist authoritarian tendencies is what I always refer to it as. Nina Jankowicz's narrative isn't exactly holding up to scrutiny, isn't exactly aging well now, is it? And here's another thing that we've been saying forever. Once again, they prove our point. The left is constantly accusing the right of being fascist and authoritarian, when we know the exact opposite to be true. Right-wingers, conservatives don't want to censor anybody's speech. In fact, conservatives would be willing to fight for Democrats and leftists' ability to speak in the public square. We want you to speak. The more Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez opens her mouth, the better it is for us. We would rather debate ideas publicly and win on the merits, where Democrats clearly cannot handle the truth.
You can't handle the truth!
Here's a Twitter senior engineer admitting that they censor Republican talking points and censor Republicans and right-wingers because left-wingers cannot handle them and would leave the platform. So they cater to this emotionally sensitive left-wing minority at the expense of everybody else and at the expense of the right thing and the sacred First Amendment. On the record, Twitter does not believe in free speech. We gathered that after Mr. Parag Agrawal became the CEO of Twitter with his very clear stance on the issue, and in the end it shows you which side is the side of authoritarianism and which side is the side of fascism. Actually, going back to this idea of leftists and their inability to handle the truth, here's an incredible article written from Zach Kriegman. I criticized BLM, then I was fired. The data about police shootings just didn't add up, but no one at Thomson Reuters wanted to hear it. Until recently, I was a director of data science at Thomson Reuters, one of the biggest news organizations in the world. It was my job, among other things, to sift through reams of numbers and figure out what they meant. About a year ago, I stumbled on a really big story. It was about Black Americans being gunned down across the country and the ways in which we report on that violence. We had been talking nonstop about race and police brutality, and I thought, this is a story that could save lives. This is a story that has to be told. But when I shared the story with my coworkers, my boss chastised me, telling me expressing this opinion could limit my ability to take on leadership roles within the company. Then I was maligned by my colleagues, and then I was fired. This is the story Reuters didn't want to tell. In 2020, I started to witness the spread of new ideology inside the company. On our internal collaborations platform, The Hub, people would post about self-indulgent tears of white women and the danger of white privilege glasses. They'd share articles with the titles Seeing White, Habits of Whiteness, How to Be a Better White Person. There was fervent and vocal support for Black Lives Matter at every level of the company. No one challenged the racial essentialism or the groupthink. This concerned me. I had been following the academic research on BLM for years, and I had come to the conclusion that the claim upon which the whole movement rested, that police more readily shoot black people, was false. The data was unequivocal. It showed that, if anything, police were slightly less likely to use lethal force against black suspects than white ones. He's a data scientist. He had the data to debunk the whole leftist narrative, brought it to the executives at Reuters, the editors. They killed the story and fired him. This is what I mean by lefties
Can't handle the truth!
And so what they do instead is they resort to propaganda, manipulation, and controlling information, and destroying the careers and lives of people who disagree with them or disprove their claims, while simultaneously calling those people authoritarians, fascists, and dangers to democracy. Folks, the leftist house of cards is slowly starting to crumble. All of these left-wingers who continue to talk about disinformation and misinformation and constantly attribute it to the right wing are starting to be exposed. All the fact checkers and the same people who claim to be the authority on all of these issues, all of these experts, are getting exposed for what they really are. Total partisan hacks, lazy Democrat grifters in the media who don't even do the slightest little bit of research and are constantly caught pushing straight up fake news are ironically enough the exact same people who claim that the internet needs to be censored because of all of the dangerous misinformation. It's unreal. Billion-dollar news organization MSNBC's military analyst posts video game clip claiming it's Ukraine war footage. About 2 months ago, Representative Adam Kinzinger pushing a picture of Sam Hyde as the ghost of Kiev, or Kyiv, but I don't even know what people call it these days, and I really don't care. It's non-stop fake news and disinformation, and then they turn around and tell us that we're the problem and they should be censoring us. Remember Nina Jankowicz saying this.
And I am eligible for it because I'm verified. Anyway, so verified people can essentially start to edit Twitter the same sort of way that Wikipedia is, so they can add context to certain tweets.
People like Nina Jankowicz, who's seemingly wrong about every major news story over the last 5 or 6 years, believes that she should have the right to edit your tweets because she's a special blue checkmark person. It's an information racket from media and MSNBC, CNN, all the left-wing organizations, the Washington Post, New York Times, Reuters, the list goes on and on and on, to these social media companies ran by these people who identify as
Communist.
empowering these same individuals, amplifying their voice, their narratives, just like they did with the Hunter Biden laptop scandal, as they continue to shadow ban and shut down voices of opposition. The dangerous right wing. It's disgusting. We've known it's been happening for a very long time, and the moment Elon Musk offers to buy Twitter, the moment it looks like the deal is going to go through, that all of a sudden, my tweets start getting 5 to 6 times the amount of likes that they used to. Initially, my reaction was, wow, Twitter's booming, people are finally coming back. But I'm not so sure if it was just organic anymore. It's possible that with Elon Musk coming in, the engineers at Twitter are panicking, undoing all of the shadow banning, deleting all of the evidence and all of the code, which proves that there is severe algorithmic manipulation that clearly promotes the left and suppresses the right. We know that it exists. I mean, you can just see it, you can just feel it. I get messages all the time saying, liberal hive mind, you're not shadow banned, you should stop saying that in your intro. I wish those people could have seen my analytics when it first happened to me. I started saying that at a very specific time, where overnight, my YouTube channel and my views, over the span of literally one day, during an algorithm change where a bunch of people started to experience the exact same thing, my YouTube analytics went from 75% unsubscribed viewers and 25% subscribed to 95 to 99% subscribed viewers, and only maximum 5% of my recommendations were to non-subscribed viewers, meaning YouTube had straight up cut me off to new viewers. Literally overnight, my views cut by more than 50%, by around 60 to 65%. And people want to tell me that it's just organic, that I'm not shadow banned, when literally my videos don't play back to back. You watch my video and it goes to a Fox News clip. People want to tell me I'm not shadow banned when you want to search for liberal hive mind in the search bar and my name doesn't even pop up. Liberal Hindu does instead. There is algorithmic manipulation to benefit the left side and the mainstream media side. It is clear, it is blatant, and it is across every single social media platform. Elon Musk is exposing the whole thing with his simple purchase of the Twitter platform. And what I really think we need here is some transparency. It's time for Congress to pass some laws to give the American people a view, some clear transparency when it comes to these social media companies, their source code, their algorithm, so we can see definitively what is happening here. Another phony liberal study and phony liberal narrative absolutely decimated. And Nina Jankowicz, disinformation specialist, is of course wrong again. Just added to the list. That's what I got for you guys though. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. I'm gonna get back to work though. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.